here how poets write. Eklavya in Mahabharata next page is Bangladesh. This Eklavya says, then I came to know, I did not go to work on that topic. Finally I got the degree, I did not go back because as a foreign return failure. I completed my work, got the degree. But when I was coming out of the pendant convocation function with a gown, I looked at my thumb. I came to know my thumb was cut off by American policy of education. So teachers of English, take care when you enter the class. If your thumb is at the right place, and when you get out of your students' class, check their thumbs if you have not cut them off. So here, this is the role of ICRE International Eklavya, and the teachers of English in third world are to fight without thumb as his tribe. Eklavya was a prince, remember it. He was not a Dalit. We made him Dalit. In that structure, he was a prince, tribal prince. And his whole community took the oath that we will not use our thumb, but fight against Pandavas, and they defeated Pandavas. Here we are to defeat Western theories, equate them with our theories, and restructure something new that will be of help to us. Now next paragraph, and I will sum up. Taslima Nasrin. This is the example that I have given in my article. A lady from our prestigious university completes the PhD on the translations of Taslima Nasrin. Unfortunately, the thesis comes to me. I find that it is cut and paste method. I submit a report to revise it on these lines. They approached me. Okay, I rejected the proposal. Proposal was very dirty. And then that thesis is accepted. The lady gets promotion. And again discontinued from service because of corruption. This is history. Corrupt degree, corruption leads to corruption. So think about this. Without studying another language, you cannot depend on only translations and do a theoretical work on that translation. So multilingualism is a bliss. Multilingualism is a plus. The achievements of the multilingual persons are always greater than the monolingual teachers or students. That is the theory here which I am going to present. Next now, Bangla. Now, rethink translations. And that example I will give and then go to sum up. Emily Apter, the young student doing PhD on translation, was sitting in the hotel restaurant and the World Trade Center fell down. World Trade Center fell down. It was a traumatic experience for her. The word used by her is like this. I rethought of my research topic, changed it, and linked it with mistranslations and wars. Terrorists, the language of the message is not deciphered by our people. That is why bombing in Bombay and elsewhere. Same thing happened in America. Chomsky had given the warning by writing 12 articles. Please don't emphasize only on your English language. Learn the languages of the world. Learn the languages of the world. Don't talk of American dream only. You are talking of American dream and ideal democracy without practicing it. You are supporting the dictators, selling your weapons to the dictators, and this is your fascism. One day, America will have to pay the price. Linguistic study of political language. Who will take such a topic for study? Linguistic study, political language, studied from linguistic point of view, and prophetic utterance made by him. America will have to pay the price, and in the same year, the Trade Center fell down. This girl changes her topic, studies the history from Istanbul, Crusades, and she did not know, unfortunately, mistranslation in our epic also. And what is Narova Kunjarova? Oh, many students here are not moving because they have not studied. Okay, Narova Kunjarova, Ashwatthama, and it was elephant named after Ashwatthama, and the elephant was killed. But Dharma, mistranslation, misguiding, misdirection given and defeat in the war. So most of the wars are won by mistranslations. The fantastic theories built up by this lady, and the title of the book is published in 2006. Title is Translation Zone, New Comparative Literature. Translation Zone, New Comparative Literature. And she has listed many languages there. I have no time to read everything. Please go ahead. We will go to the conclusion now. My friends, both the concepts of comparative literature and world literature are not static. And I have mentioned two essays. current essays by not American and European scholars, but by Chinese, Taiwanese and others. They are thinking what is the impact of media and globalization on our thinking, parameters of teaching, on our personality, on our communication and production of knowledge. All these references I have brought in, and Western modern master narratives and theories, alternative options are suggested. How to build up them up, how to interpret our own culture from comparative perspective, that is a greater challenge. It is a need of the time. Bakhtin became popular, Mikhail Bakhtin, Russian theorist, after his death. So after our deaths, at least Indian theories may become popular. And this man was working alone, Dostoevsky and other novelists, and he built up the theory of dialogic imagination. Dostoevsky had dialogic imagination, and Count Leo Tolstoy had only imagination. And we have only Coleridge's imagination. Coleridge, dead and gone. Now that concept is modified. It is changed, and people have come to dialogic comparative imagination. And he is a rich teacher. He is a good teacher whose imagination is dialogic plus comparative. And it doesn't mean that I am a comparatist. That is why I am pleading for my case. No, every man is a comparatist. When you buy one thing in your house, you compare the same thing with neighbor's house. The thing in this neighbor's house. When we are born, comparison is born. And then there will come culture conditioned imagination. This is the title of the book by African scholar Michael Eshuru, Culture Conditioned Imagination from Conrad to Shakespeare. Shakespeare to Conrad, reverse. And here our imagination is also called culture conditioned. And if we approach the text as a cultural product, we can understand it. Derrida's advanced theories were borrowed from Gautam Buddha's Anitya Bodha. Anitya Bodha. Do that Vipassana course which I have done. It is more useful than any other course of yoga. Here, Vipassana. So these theories were read by Derrida. Panini's Sanskrit was studied by Lévi-Strauss and Saussure. And they built up theories based on our thinking. Why not we go to some other Sri Lankan folk art and imitate it and mix it with some other art, and hybrid products will come. Next, Eurocentric and America-centric. Now, after was moved to rethink translation, that I have just now explained. Some quotes I have given: multilingual aesthetic practice. Multilingual aesthetic practice. For example, I give you one example. Single word can make you think about, for example, PhD on the names of villages. It is a topic for PhD for English teacher, please note it. Names of the places, done by Yuan, Chinese professor, named his chair after his mother. He is in Hong Kong now, I have met him. He had read a fantastic paper on Indian names of railway stations and towns and cities and culture. Good paper. One German girl had done PhD on rivers, folk literature and culture in Maharashtra. River, R-I-V-E-R-S, rivers. Maharashtraतील नद्या, लोकसंस्कृती आणि साहित्य. What a fantastic study, a German girl doing it. I had met Rosalind O'Hanlon, here also in London. She had done PhD on Mahatma Phule Satyashiv Chawla. Now she is doing on folk poems. And here she delivered lecture, caste system before 15th century. What do we know about it? So these things are lying hidden behind the curtain. And these thrones, translation and thrones, every act is translation. See how she had played upon the word. Transnation, which goes across nation. Translation, L capital. So paying upon the word, okay. We check our words also, what is the link between English and other words. Hybridization. For example, you are tired. What is the translation of air hostess? Hawai Sundari. Okay, Marathi. What a bogus translation it is. There is no guarantee that Hawai Sundari is Sundar. On the contrary, Kannada has a better word, Gagana Sakhi. So here, you think of neighboring terms and words. They may be better. And this translation, theory she goes in shortly. In short, everything is translated. Go and sell it in the global market. Final conclusion is like this. My friends, after giving so many examples, I have limited knowledge of Asian literature. Some of them who are diaspora writers I have read. What is this involved? If I know only diaspora writers and not regional writers in many languages, that is the basic ground of our culture, regional literatures. Are we going to trace them? Salman Rushdie wrote the preface to vintage books of Indian writing in English. There he said, regional writings are shadow literatures. Regional literatures mean Marathi, Hindi and other languages, Sinhalese and Pakistani Pakhtun. All these languages writing is shadow literature. If we are producing shadow literature, then real literature will be produced, and on what basis? That challenge is thrown. Next paragraph, please. Then, before we conclude, there is one reference to be made. The impact of globalization and media on the notion of world literature. It has changed time, concept of space, everything has changed. Earth has become flat, and you can approach any culture, anywhere upon this earth. So, Goethe's and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Rabindranath Tagore's Vishwa Bandhutva, humanitarian approach is outdated today. Post-colonialists challenge this approach. No, we are different, but theory of difference is different one. There is a separate book on difference. So my friends, in brief perspective, South Asian literature demands emancipation of these new literatures. So what Bruce King says should not be accepted as it is. In what sense our literature is new? In what sense our literature can contribute something new to the world literature? That is the role to be decided by us, and that will be the guiding line for the coming generations. It will be more creative, more standard in the sense our own. Like Chenua Achebe, when he wrote Things Fall Apart, nobody accepted it as a novel. Perhaps our thing may not be accepted for the world, but one day they would have to accept it. Everything lies in the rebellion and resistance. And if you don't resist, mere submissiveness is profitable, but it is also the loss of inheritance. And Loss of Inheritance is a novel by Kiran Desai, most cross-breeded novel and culture and experimental which I have read. My friends, while reading it, be aware that you are reading it from Pune, not from center in America. So don't lose center. Mere anarchy will lose upon the world. Things Fall Apart, W.B. Yeats. My friends, let this seminar have a center. Karavili Pesi, Veli Votavodu, Vapudi Vadita Devgane, Ramdas, thank you.
Enjoyed having you and your associates, sir. Thank you for giving a wonderful and analytical view of the South Asian literature from a comparative point of view in a nutshell. Your presentation was adventurous and captured the attention of all of us over here. Thank you, sir. Well done, sir. And now, request Dr. Ashok G. Chaskar, Dean, Faculty of Arts, Performing Arts, University of Pune. So please, sir, give the chairman address.
Dignitaries on the dais, chief guest, Professor Ekterina, keynote speaker, and an old friend of mine, Dr. Anand Patil. The person behind this event, in fact I have to say persons, not only person, but a dynamic couple and the budding scholars, Dr. Sudhir Nikam, his wife Dr. Madhavi Nikam, delegates, participants from different universities, different colleges, and especially I would like to mention the family members of Nikam family who are here with us for this function. You know, after having this academic feast given by Dr. Anand Patil, what should I say? And you know that the role I am playing before you, I am neither scholar nor creative writer, but just maybe an administrator at university level. Now you are overwhelmed by very comprehensive speech supported by references. And he has proven his scholarship. I know him for last 25 years when I joined my duty as a lecturer in a very Mofisai college called Gotur, and he was also there at Mansar. And we used to have dialogue with each other for last 25 years. I first congratulate this couple. I use the word couple deliberately because of this is the joint venture. Dr. Sudhir Nikam has formed this institute, or let us say organization, Higher Education and Research Society. We need to appreciate his efforts, his vision. He is not only a teacher, but he is quite visionary one. What needs to be done, not only for the students, but for the teacher community also. And therefore, taking into account the need of time, perhaps, he has organized or he has instituted Higher Education and Research Society for multiple purposes. In the beginning, he has made one point very clear, that this is a kind of family gathering. He knows all the participants personally, and therefore, credit should be given to both of them. Though I am a Dean of Arts Faculty in University of Pune, and Dr. Patil has made a very bitter or the right remark that this gathering, I don't feel it is in the vicinity of Pune University. I stand before you, not as a dean, but the friend of Dr. Sudhir Nikam. Most of the faces are known to me, but majority of the participants and delegates are outside the Pune. So let me congratulate their enthusiastic participation in this academic event. The theme of this international seminar is, it is quite inclusive as in literature and culture. Patil sir has given a lot of references, and we know literature and culture should not be separated. When we talk about Asian literature, maybe literature from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, or even India. Most of the time, we people, most of the scholars, why that I don't know, but they make compartments. Specific compartment of language, compartment of literature. But friends, literature is the product of specific language. So we need to accept multilingual setup while we produce any literary text. And there is no point in separating literature from language and vice versa. Because literary artist, after having command over specific language, he tries to say something. And most of the time, he bends the rules of grammar. Whatever we learn at school level, at college level, we have been teaching rules of grammar for making him or her perfect in English or perfect in language. But literary artist always bends the rules of grammar for maintaining the beauty of language. Because language is a beautiful tool in his or in her hand to make something new. And he exhibits not a specific issue, but he wants to exhibit the whole panorama of human life, the whole society, into culture, tradition, custom, ideology, even lifestyles, And therefore, literature and culture should go hand in hand. On the one hand, we talk about cultural studies. On the other hand, we separate culture from the literature. But it is very difficult to separate culture from literature or literature from culture. Literature is produced for what purpose? What is the purpose of producing literature? Maybe any kind of literary text. Literature is produced for strengthening social harmony and peace. Literature should be used for this purpose. It should not be used for scattering the people from one group to another. And we know India is the land of multicultural setup, multi-religious setup, even multi-ethnic setup. So Indian literature, including prose, poetry, or even the fiction, it deals with the whole pattern of India, and therefore there is no point in scattering or just separating the people from each other. So the basic aim of any literary text should be, it should be useful for ordinary readers. For about the linguistic variation in India, we know that India is quite rich. There are hundreds of languages. Regional literature is there. Literature from Assam, literature from Karnataka, literature from Hindi, Marathi.